Hi, everyone. This is Ellen Marie Francisco. Thanks for coming into my channel. Today's June 30th, and I'm going to do our tarot for July to see what's coming up for the entire month, things we need to keep an eye out for. We're going to do the Celtic Cross for July 2025. What do we need to know now? There we go. Usually cut into 3 piles. Oh, the Fool card. The very beginning of the whole tarot experience is the Fool, the zero, starting at nothing. Wow, all right. So that's our soul collective card representing us, crossing us, is the Ten of Pentacles. I like to think of this card as the giving card. It is a bit of a reward card. It likes to give things back to us, but we must be in the mood to receive in order to benefit the most from this. So it's a good idea to have an open mind, an open heart, a willingness to receive instead of always having to be the giver. With the Fool card as our soul essence, everybody reads the Fool card a little bit differently. I feel like this is God essence, God divine, and the sense of our connection to it, and that the overbearing feeling is that people are reaching for more connection, or they realize the disconnection, and therefore they're open to the connection. Yeah. That's what I'm getting off of our little first soul card to begin with, and our Ten of Pentacles. A lot of people are uncomfortable receiving. You just ask yourself the question, is it easy for you to receive, or do you always have to give? Sometimes when the Ten of Pentacles works around us, it comes in favors and serendipitous giving from other people, or windfalls from out of nowhere, or sweet gifts from people we know and don't know. I mean, it can come from anywhere. If God essence is what's working through us in July, then essence would be trying to make sure that we're rewarded for the work that we've done on staying connected to our own source, because we are the source of source, and source is the source of source. Yeah, and we need to be resourced for our journey. So when I see this kind of a configuration in the tarot cards, it makes me think that Spirit is ready to give back to us in plenitude in any way that we need, and it could be coming in from all walks of life and in all ways and manners. So keep an open heart to receiving in July. Oh, and look, another kind of prayer. I think of this as a prayer card. It can be, it's a Seven of Cups. It brings in possibilities. I feel like it reaches the invisible worlds, and it moves through the plane of creation, or the plane of manifestation. So this is a really good indication that your prayers will go, well, they'll be, no, how do I say that? What do we say? Your prayers will not go unanswered, is what I'm hearing. Your prayers will not go unanswered. I've seen that a lot in my energetic work, when I'm doing readings, I'll often see that proof of that very thing. So wish upon a star right now. Be willing to reach into your own self, beyond yourself, everywhere around yourself, and be willing to, yes, you know what? Isn't that interesting? I was about to say, and reach for the help. And yet, the card crossing our soul card this month is a giving card, a reward card, a fruition card, a coming to roost kind of card. And here is a card saying, hey, don't forget to pray. Don't forget we want to make your wishes come true. So I contend and have contended for quite some time that for those on their true connected paths where they're really considering all parts of themselves and moving with fluidity and innocence and their own openness and vulnerability and ability to trust in their own invisible parts and the God force and all of its invisible parts. So I think it's actually a great way to start July, way better than June. Good heavens. Do you remember June? Wow. That was like death and the devil and mayhem. So now we've got God and reward. And that is true. Sometimes you have to go through the dark night of the soul to get to the light bright of the day. And I think this is it. I think a lot of us made it through our initiation phase. And it's sweet because we've just done the solstice and there's a sweet new moon out there. So I think we are under very lovely new energies. And goodness, who knows what's going to come next? Let's see. Oh, my heavens, the Wheel of Fortune in the past. Ish. It's kind of like a right now kind of card too, as far as the Celtic Cross goes, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so the Wheel of Fortune, I find a fascinating, curious gal because look at all the wheels spinning around her. These are opportunities in the making for you. Some of them come easily, some of them come with a test, some of them definitely come with a weighing measurement of your own approach to you and your commitment to honoring your value, worthiness, and, well, you could even say mental health, emotional health, and all the rest of it, spiritual health. The Wheel of Fortune is telling us that we are being tested. So we're being tested to open and to receive the gifts of the universe because we need to be resourced for our God entrusted journey while we envision and encapsulate the ideas that we need to create into the world. The wheel is going to watch us and how we choose and what we do. And then the invisible members of the universe that have any influence over any of this will measure it all out and decide what your next winner chicken dinner is as far as the reward part. So I'd say choose high, reach high this month. They already asked you to reach high here. And what's got the Wheel of Fortune? Her heart and her watch. So the timely heartfulness, in-heartedness. I don't think that's a word, but it could be a state of being for sure. We have the Chariot hanging over our heads in the Celtic Cross here. Well, divine will meets human will. Now, if we're coming into July as the Fool in our center card, then we are definitely being tempted, and of course with the Wheel of Fortune, we're being asked and tempted to also align with God will, Goddess will, God will, divine will, creator will, and your own human will. You know, sometimes you really do have to power up and do your own thing. All right. Well, I'll say more about this when I see the other cards. But it is off to a seemingly very promising start. I have not seen anything bad yet. So, wow, talk about breakthrough moments. All right, so coming into our, maybe I should talk about the Chariot a little bit more, it is also a 7. So above us and below us are 2 7s. 7s. All right. So I still think that this is the God plane, the invisible plane, a lot of times for whatever reason. That's how it approaches me. So I'm going to say, we have a lot of say so in some of our choices now. And which is interesting because we may be more, we're more divinely in tune, we're more divinely led, we're more divinely entrusting. If you've made it through a dark night of the soul, for instance, if you had one in June and you're still here now, coming into July, then kudos to you for making it. And maybe this is where you get to use some of the new power. Often the dark night of the soul lets go of old content from old lifetimes and other timelines that can't really normally be accessed during the here and now. But during a dark night of the soul, it's free reign, and the brain will often pick through it unbeknownst to you and just wreak havoc. So congratulations if you made it through and you're feeling more empowered. Usually you do, because you usually do let a bunch of stuff that you don't need anymore energetically, that was bogging you down as it was. Now we have a little more choice here. We've got a little more self-empowerment, so we can do a little bit more what the heck we feel like by the looks of it. And the 4 of Cups is in our doorway to the future. I like this card because it does talk about the heart and taking care of your heart. It also speaks to the emotional umbrella, so to speak, that you may be working with right now, as far as needing more, say, privacy, or a little bit of a step back, or a little bit of simplifying. Actually, I think there's going to be some emotional simplifying. This is in our doorway, so it really is going to be faced. So your emotional world will need to be dealt with in July, I guess. So yeah, we may have made some good breakthroughs. We may have just barely squeaked by all the things that were hindering us and overloading us. Yeah. And it just may be a quieter month, you just want to be more introspective. You don't really want to be as outward, which, hey, that's okay too. You may also feel very emotionally protected, and that could be by spirit too. So it may be a good time, since we're coming in with such God force and the ability to pray and have our goals met or prayers answered, and then of course the rewards. So sometimes universe gives us enough time to have the space to heal from something or nurture ourselves in a way that we haven't been able to do before up until now, or we've been pining to do and just waiting for the right opportunity. So sometimes the universe will make our world very quiet if they want us to be quiet. If you don't pick up the hints yourself, it's quite possible sometimes you may be slowed down in other ways, and in order to regenerate. Basically regenerating feels like I think that there's a move to eat more naturally. I think I kind of feel like all of a sudden there's going to be this exodus to not eat processed foods or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just it's even, I don't know. That's what they're telling me. So there is some kind of a difference so we may be taking measures to protect our own health where, maybe we wouldn't have, Sometimes when we're dealing with the Fool, you've got to pretend you know nothing. Otherwise you could appear arrogant and over, like if you're using your will, like the chariot is bringing us a whole lot of will. Is it human will or is it divine will? Is it pushed or is it allowed? You know, is it pushed or is it allowed? Very different energies, very different approach. So we may be becoming more conscious about, you know, what is thy will? What is thy will to be done in all of your affairs? What is the highest good? This spread is talking for sure about the highest good. This is not the down and dirty, take advantage, manipulating kind of spread that we had last month. My goodness. But it's been an intense month for a lot of people. So I really do think congratulations are in order for anybody who's still here on the planet in June and July. Okay, so right after our little cute doorway to the future with the Four of Cups, we have an ace, which is a new beginning. And it is a new story, a whole new story. So I think that we should take advantage of those sevens we saw earlier and pray to the Almighty of everything, whether you pray to the plants, to the day, to the people, to the gods, to the goddesses, to the deities, and to all the other. Yeah, who knows? You could be praying to animals for all I know. It's a new story, new time to bloom. So let's see what else is here, and then I'll talk about them. The strength card is also part of our line into this. Oh, geez, man. Look at me. I spoke too soon about the devil. Holy man. Now we got to talk about her again. Eek. Oh, but then there's magician right after that. Fascinating set of cards. Whoops. These last four cards. Wow. Very interesting time period. You know, because it really is like a sink or swim time. Yeah, if you're not connected to yourself, if you're not willing to dig a little deep, clear out some closets and emotional space in your own heart, your head, and your power spots, you know, you could be looping around in unfulfilled loops that don't lead anywhere, that you may be grasping at other altered possibilities to escape, you know, the sort of sad reality that's creeping in because you know somebody didn't connect. I don't know. Most people who watch my channel are already connected, so but they're mentioning it, so I'm just maybe wondering if this is, you know, the unawakened masses that are still waiting for the morning. That is a good cup of tea. All right. So, well, yes, let's go back. So we've got these four cards. We've got the Ace of Wands. That's also in a lot of way God force, creator energy, you know, the plane of existence that works with existing things into being. The Strength card, again, solar plexus. Interesting. Lots of situations where we're dealing with our solar plexus in this spread with the Chariot and the Strength card, both members of the major arcana. The Strength card really, the funny thing about strength building is often we go through situations in life where we're just challenged, you know, we've got a nose to the grind it and we've just got to get busy and get it done. And this, you know, and sometimes in amidst the conflicts and the challenges associated with their own spiritual contracts and the mundane life stuff that just sort of hits our fields here and there, we don't often realize how much strength we're building in ourselves through our own sense of self and through our own sense of resilience and the need for quietude sometimes. The strength card is an 8. So the 8s I feel are, you know, power, a lot of power. A lot of power with the 8s. So you don't usually realize how how strong you are sometimes. You really just don't. And sometimes there's situations where you realize, wow, or everybody sees, wow, you did something in the nick of time and it was amazing. And now you're a hero, could be all kinds of funny stuff like that going on this, this month. The other card, I mean, the devil, again, this is January in Capricorn, so this could be something that happened way back 6 months ago, 7 months ago now, that started to infiltrate your world somehow or another, and you may be cleaning that up or making sure that you're not ignoring it, essentially. Yeah. Yeah, and also manipulation. How prone are you to manipulations? How prone are you to letting people talk you into whatever? And are you willing to hold a boundary when you don't feel your strength? Because even though you've got a lot of strength, sometimes you don't feel it and sometimes you don't use it. Sometimes you don't draw on it. So if you're not willing to kind of hold your own and be in your own strengths this month, you may be dealing with outside temptations or things like that, that may come a calling, you know, devil may come a calling. And honestly, if you're starting out as the God Force in this beginning of the month, I mean, sometimes the fool is just fool, we have a part of us that can be just foolish to the ninth degree. So this could also be one of those months where we're looking at that ourselves. Where are we the fools? Where am I the fool? What am I doing wrong? What don't I know that I didn't know that I didn't know? How can I know what I didn't know that I didn't know? And anyway, we have to trust so much with these ideas. If for instance somebody's behavior around you suddenly spiraled down and it's a panoramic viewpoint of all kinds of crazy chaotic stuff, yeah, you just may have to dial it in and make sure you're not under the influence, so to speak, of any. Isn't that funny? That's what they use, under the influence of those around you. But also, the devil does represent addictions and manipulative people. Sometimes we're addicted to, wow, it's true, manipulating people. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the possibility of clearing some things out of our lives once and for all is happening through this month, this couple of months. We had this in June, of course, the devil. So I think this is an opportunity to grow, hold your strength, be open to receive. I mean, this is interesting about the devil card because, it does talk about manipulation. So are you manipulating? Are you being manipulated? Are both things happening and you're learning about them all at once? I mean, what's going on? It could be anything. There could be a lot of people making power plays that are just, suspect, basically. And on and on and on. Anything you can think of that somebody could, do you wrong wise. Keep it simple. Don't hang out with the people that, tempt you into all the wrong behaviors or tempt you into the wrong scenarios and things like that. Okay. That would be a healthier way to handle it. And then the magician. So I guess this is the point earlier. Let's go back to Little Miss Wheel of Fortune, because she preempted this whole spread even before center point. So this is something that's already in play right now. The tests have begun. The measuring is underway. So you've got the God force as your soul essence this month, and you're ending with magician. And in the midst, of course, we have the devil. So let's say, yeah, this is actually pretty profound. So the magician works really well when you're willing to work yourself really well, where you just stick to this universal plan. Yes, it's sometimes extremely invisible and you don't really know what to trust and what not to trust and where to hit the brakes and where to hit the gas. At the end of the day, it makes sense to get a lot of rust, by the way, so you can be better at that, regardless of what other choice you choose. But the point is, the magician meets you right, like at your doorway. It's not like you got to go running to find them, just find you. And just keeping an upbeat mind with open possibilities. Yeah. So that is my overview for July 2025. I'm going to feel into what else I want to say about all these cards. So opportunities would abound. And I guess that's the point too, because the Wheel of Fortune is usually a bombardment of all kinds of things where, suddenly you're just learning a lot about people in a really short period of time, and it's loud and clear, endless opportunities. So if you've got the Wheel of Fortune saying, hey, anything can happen. Reach high. We're watching. We're going to give you all kinds of opportunity. It's up to you to decide which are the best for you and which aren't. But it's not the time for you to just grab at everything, even if it's meaningless to you, and say, yes, yes, yes. It would be better to be more discerning until you really know what you need or want to do about it. But I find it fascinating that the Wheel of Fortune is in amongst with the Devil and the Magician this month, because Wheel of Fortune tests to see which side we're going to go on. Are we going to diminish ourselves and go into slovenly devilish ways where we're not taking care of our own needs and attending to our own business? And then are we leaving room for magic as well after doing all the things we needed to do? Because there's a lot that still needs to be done, of course. So the magician sometimes, yes, it works better when you work you better. So getting your rest and your diet and your pleasure and all the rest of it. And maybe even out more, being more outdoors is going to be necessary too. More natural environments and more tree hugging and foot dipping. Is it a word? Yeah, lots of foot dipping your feet in the waters, so to speak. Fertile waters as well, I'm hearing. Interesting spread. Okay, so maybe we look at, is there anything else we need to know going into July? Well, I think July is going to be a lot lighter than June was. So keep in mind that you want to create the space and the time for you to do more of the things that make sense to you and not have to worry about anything. So it feels to me too like we're building our own little networks and making sure little things here and there are taken care of that are probably big things, but it starts in as little things. Yeah, so thanks a lot for coming into my channel. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will see you soon. We will do another reading very shortly. And I'll have some other interesting, cute little videos. So have a great everything, and we will see you next month. Bye for now.